Well, that was fantastic. I gotta admit, full transparency, I was a little concerned. I thought, oh my gosh, here's another old person that we're gonna be sharing time with, and it's gonna be dry and just selling something. And
Yeah. Well, the truth is, she barely has time for us.
yeah,
Annie is a dynamo. This woman has done a bunch of things. She's still super creative. And we could not be happier to have spent the short ride that we got to have with Annie Korzen. And I continue to mess up her name, and you'll see me get corrected at the beginning of the show for this. Please subscribe to her YouTube channel. It's down in the show notes. She is a wonder. You'll find out so many amazing things. And I'm just super tickled that I got to spend time with this amazing human.
Yeah, that was fantastic. So support Blast, Compton Cowboys, subscribe, hit us up if you want. And if you don't want, hit us up and drink Adrenochrome Cola. Enjoy the ride.
Sis, hallo?
Blijven.
Stuur zeker wegen dem.
Joh je iets niet, joh.
Sitaki ubenza, anika sirikie.
Two outlaws on the lam, taking the back roads through America.
You can't drink enough coffee for this show.
And now it's time for Monday Madness with the Moped Outlaws, Greg and Mark.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Moped Outlaws. Today, our guest is Annie Korzen. She is a TikTok sensation, author, was a recurring character, Doris Clampus. She's a writer, Moth Main Stage storyteller, and so much more. And we're going to have a nice visit with her, and we're so glad you could make it, Annie.
Oh, I'm happy to be here. I love talking about myself. So I'm already going to give you two corrections.
Great.
My name's pronounced Korzen. It's Korzen. And
Annie
my
Korzen.
character on Seinfeld was Doris Clampus. I was down in the condo in Florida where Jerry's parents lived. And I'm one of the few actors who did a second. I actually did two different characters on Seinfeld. So I also was I always play obnoxious characters. That's my specialty. I wonder why. I was an obnoxious airline passenger when Elaine is stuck in coach. So she's stuck next to me in coach.
Nice.
Well, and I get corrected a lot on this show, so we're off to a regular good start here.
I'm going to correct you. Okay, let me test you here because I know you're going to fail this one. Let me hear you pronounce the title of my book.
Oh, The Book of Annie, Humor, Heart, and Chutzpah.
Keep going. Keep going.
Oh, from an accidental influencer.
Yeah, but you did chutzpah pretty well, actually. I thought
I've been told I'm a mensch, but it's not something you can claim.
He's a honorary part of the tribe.
Okay.
And
Greg's officially in.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Really? But Greg is not a typical Jewish name, is it?
Well, no, it isn't. My middle name's Isaac. And my brother and sisters are Leah, Rivka, and Aaron.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's
Hebrew name.
Jewy. That's as
Yitzhak.
Jewish as you can get.
Yeah, my mom was Catholic.
You after a pope.
Yeah, my mom was Catholic. My dad was Jewish.
Oh, okay.
But the shul that we went to, I had to convert in order to be bar mitzvahed. Like officially convert. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So speaking of bar mitzvahs, you mentioned that during your talk on The Moth that your son had developed a list of some of the great movies to watch together. What are some of the movies that our audience should watch?
Oh, well, actually, no, what happened was at the bar mitzvah, I told the people that it was a very secular kind of hippie bar mitzvah. It wasn't in a temple. It was just at home, a lunch at home, and he had to read a paper. But I told all the guests to come and give Jonathan a list of their 10 favorite books and their 10 favorite movies. Because I figured he'd have his own personal, liberal arts education before he even went to college. And he was furious. He said, I don't want this stupid list. I want checks like everybody else.
Money.
right? But anyway, but if you're asking me my 10 favorite movies, um, one of them you may not have heard of. It's not that popular. It's called Enchanted April. Have you ever heard of it or seen it?
Don't know that one.
It's a wonderful, wonderful British movie about these four miserable, lonely women in different walks of life in gray, rainy England, and they don't know each other, and they end up renting a villa in Italy together in the spring, and their lives change as soon as they hit Italy. And sunshine and beauty and food, everything changes. It's a fabulous movie. But I like some of the big ones. I watched Benny and I, my husband, we watched the whole Godfather trilogy, I would say once every couple of years.
Wow. Even the third one.
Including the third one, because I
Wow.
figure you got to see how the story ends, right?
Yeah.
And so of those,
last year he released the director's cut. Have you seen Francis?
Yeah, I saw that. It didn't help because his daughter is miscast, and I don't know.
And what about his latest film?
I haven't seen it, but I have to say, and I know Francis. I've met Francis. As a matter of fact, I met him in San Francisco many years ago. He had a studio there called Zoetrope.
Yeah.
The thing is, I haven't seen it. I intend to see it, but I felt, as I often feel, that the reviews were just really disrespectful, that the reviews didn't acknowledge the body of work that this man has created, and they were kind of smarmy and dismissive. And I thought, even if it's not a great movie, have some respect for this man's body of work.
And the
Do you
risk
know what I'm
he
saying?
took. Yeah, and I think he took a very creative risk with this last film.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
I didn't. Mark did.
I saw it. I thought it succeeded, and it succeeded in the tradition of San Francisco art films.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful work of art in a number of different ways.
Yeah, and you have to respect somebody who made something, not thinking about the commercial value, not thinking of the made something that was something from the heart, a passion, an artistic passion. I think you have to give credit to that. I'm glad you saw. Where did you see it? In a theater?
I went and saw it in the theater basically the night it opened because I'm a big fan.
Wow, good for you.
And I wanted to see it in a big screen as it was intended. And any man that puts up $100 million of his own money to get a film,
I know you have to
me going and spending. I get a senior discount now, so I spent my $11.
Even with the senior, we live in Los Angeles. Even with a senior discount, our local theater, I think, is like $19 or something.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's so expensive. I was going to tell you about another movie. Wait, what was I thinking? Oh, actually, my husband Benny is Danish, and he's in the film business. Not so much anymore, but he was involved in a film. His partner produced a film that won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film, which again, I think is one of the 10 greatest movies ever made. It's a Danish film, won the Oscar for Best Foreign Film in 1989, I think. And it's called Babette's Feast.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, we watch it every couple of years. And the interesting thing about something like The Godfather and something like Babette's Feast, they do not age. There's nothing aged about, they're as good now as they were then.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, how you tell a great movie.
Yeah,
right?
or maybe any great work of art. I'm wondering,
Yes.
Annie,
Moonstruck would be another one for me.
Yeah.
Moonstruck. I watch every couple of years.
I'm wondering, because we're talking about these creative endeavors, and right now your platform for creativity is social media in a very short format.
Yeah. It's all, first of all, that whole thing, I have now close to 5 million followers on TikTok, and I'm 86 years old. And because of the TikTok thing, that's how I got to publish the book, because publishers knew that I had, an audience that might follow me. But it's very surprising to me. It was totally accidental. I've always been an actor and a writer and a storyteller. I'm a humorist, and I would do spoken word shows, and I did solo shows. And I always thought that I knew who my audience was. I always thought my audience was people like me, older, educated, urban women, mostly Jewish. I thought that's who gets me. And I was totally wrong. I had a young friend. I said to her, I wish I could find a larger audience for my work, for my show. In LA, if you're in a spoken word show, you're lucky if 40 people show up, right? And she said, oh, you should go on TikTok. I said, are you crazy? Why would anybody want to see me, this old Jewish New York lady, on TikTok? She said, trust me, you would go viral. And one of the themes of my book is always say yes. Always say, yeah, why not? I thought, well, it can't hurt. I thought, okay, this is insane, but yeah, why not? And we started the week before lockdown. We started in March 2020. And she was right. I went viral very soon after. And I discovered that my audience is not who I thought it was. My audience is young, it's diverse, it's white, black, Christian, whatever, American, European. I got a fan letter, which really, really made me cry. I got a fan letter from this kid who said, I don't understand why I relate so deeply with an old Jewish American lady. I am a 16-year-old Afghan boy.
Oh, wow.
And that's and the kids were stopping on the street. A lot of them are kids. Oh, you. Oh, we know you. Oh, we love you. Oh, can we get a selfie? These are kids that I never in a million years would have thought would appreciate what I have to say. And I think, am I talking too long?
No, we love it.
I think something has happened. Hopefully, finally, this generation of young people, they are not afraid to, how shall I say, respect the wisdom and experience of older people. Older people, especially in this country, have been so dismissed and so overlooked and so passed over and so kind of condescended to. And for some reason, these kids are not like that. They actually are interested in my take on things, my take on life, on how to live and how to save money and how to date and how to be a mother and how to be a spouse. And they don't seem to have that ageism, that prejudice that I've been.
Well, I want to interrupt. I want to interrupt and say part of this
please.
is the quality of the person in this case. It has nothing to do with your age, because what you have to say, the heart in what you have to say and the wisdom is timeless, just like the art we were talking about. So they're identifying with you. It has nothing to do with how old you are. It's really just the messages and the insights.
I appreciate that. But there is still, I mean, look, if I'll go into a restaurant with my husband and the waiter will come over and he'll say to my husband, would you care for a cocktail, sir? And then he'll turn to me and say, and how about you, young lady?
Oh, yeah.
And I want to slap him. I don't. I know he thinks he's being cute. He thinks he's being flirty. But I am not. I want to be treated with the same respect that my elderly husband is treated. Or when people say, and I know that, again, they mean well, I get lots and lots of comments from my fans. These are kids who love me. Oh, you and you're so cute. Oh, you're so adorable. I don't like those words. Those are words you apply to a puppy or to a little kid who's just, used the potty for the first time. I am a wise and intelligent and accomplished person with a lot of insights that are worth sharing. Well, and for me to be told that I'm cute or I'm adorable, I think it's a little demeaning. I think it's condescending. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
So from that wisdom, what would you advise to me, who's 60 years old, to be a good spouse?
Oh, what an interesting question. I've never been asked that. And I'm glad you did ask it, because I've got an answer. I think the most important, look, here's my marriage. My husband and I have almost nothing in common. Okay. Really. He's a morning person. I'm a night person. I binge on series. He likes to watch sports, and you know what I mean. We don't like to say he's Danish. He likes herring and cheese. I like pasta and Asian food. So on the surface, you might say we don't have a lot in common, but my husband is as invested in my career as he is in his own. And he shows up. I did a solo show at Ref for several months in Santa Monica. He was at every performance. And he laughed at all the same places. And after each show, he told me how terrific I was. He shows up, he's there. Our marriage is not just about his career. And as far as I can see, most marriages are still about the husband's career. I think that's changing. Now, you're younger than I. So maybe in your generations that's changed, but in my generation, it was about the father's job, the father's needs. Don't, daddy, don't make noise. Daddy's taking you out. Daddy's on his way home. Let's clean the house. Everything was about daddy's needs. I think now, if you show your wife or your spouse that you are as concerned about their concerns as you are about your own, that's the best way to be, and to show up. I go with my husband to all of his doctor's appointments because I feel I need to be his advocate. He's not going to take in the information. I mean, he's not seriously ill or anything, but I show up. And I really think that's the key. Does that resonate
Makes
at all?
perfect sense. It's great. Yeah.
What does your partner do professionally?
She's dead. No, I mean, I don't have a partner. She's dead to me.
In that case, wait a minute. Let me rephrase.
He's looking for a partner.
Yeah, I want to be prepared when the right person comes into my life.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because when I talk to my single women friends who go on these dating, and of all ages, not just the old ones like me, but one of the reasons I've stayed young is I hang out with a lot of young people. I've had a lot of young friends. Which I think everybody should do. Everybody should have intergenerational friends. But what I hear all the time is, I met this guy. He seemed okay on the online thing. And you know what? He didn't ask me one question about myself. Not one question. So it's a key. That's kind of the red alert. If the guy is not interested in you, if he's only there to impress you, oh, I did this and I own this and goodbye, bye-bye.
Yeah.
It's got to be not for him to just present himself, but to show some real interest in you.
Yeah. Your husband's name's Benni?
Benni, Benni.
Benni, how long have you and Benni been together?
Well, we just had our 61st anniversary, but we married as soon as we met because it was a green card marriage.
Oh, really?
Literally.
Wow, you are the first green card marriage I've heard of.
Well, I mean, I thought it was real. I mean, we met in February and we felt we had something, and we got married in April. And my friends were furious. They said, "You don't know this guy. He'll get his papers and you'll never see him again." I said, "No, I think this feels right." And that was 61 years ago.
Wow.
And for those of you who are watching, you can see behind Annie the artwork that Benni creates. It's
that's right
in the room.
Yeah.
And that's another thing.
Colorful,
marriage. He's a painter. He's always painted. He just expresses himself that way. He's painted ever since I've known him. And he's never done anything, because he's not pushy like me. He's never done anything about presenting his work. I have gotten him gallery shows. I have gotten him sales. I have gotten him attention, because again, I think that's part of my job as a spouse, to promote my husband's talents if he's too shy or passive about doing it.
Well, this brings me to the question about your book, because the title of the book is The Book of Annie, Humor, Heart, and Chutzpah from an Accidental Influencer. And the thing that you're describing about what you do for your husband, it comes under my definition of chutzpah. But I'm wondering, being the kind of person that I am, I'm sure I don't know the full definition. Can you explain chutzpah in a more detailed way?
Well, it's actually a negative word. I'm trying to redefine it. It's actually a pejorative. Oh, she's got a lot of hoods, but it really means she's got a lot of nerve. How dare she? Who does she think she is inviting herself for dinner? Who does she think she is assigning herself chairman of the, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I'm kind of trying to put a positive spin on it, that it's okay to have a little nerve. It's okay to be outspoken. It's okay to speak your mind. That's not such a bad thing. I'll tell you another theme of my book, which relates. I'm glad you asked me this. All of my life, I have been criticized. If I've apologized for being too talkative, too opinionated, too blunt about my opinions. I've been criticized for that, particularly since they said these were unattractive qualities in a woman. And I always berated why can't I be nice and smiley and sweet like the good American girl? Why must I have to be such a loudmouth, opinionated Bronx girl? And guess what? Now, in my 80s, this new audience I have found, they are celebrating me for the qualities I've always apologized for. They love the sound of my voice. They want me to talk. They treasure my opinions. And what I want to say to you and to everybody, to my readers, is do not be imprisoned by other people's negative opinions of you. We all do that, especially when we're younger. People say, you do this, you do that. Even your parents say, you're too late, you do this, you do that. And you apologize and you feel guilty about it. How about being who you are to the fullest? If you said to me now, if I met somebody now who said, you talk a lot, which people sometimes still do, my response is, you're absolutely right. And you know something? You should listen to what I have to say. You might learn something.
Yeah.
I do not apologize anymore, but I did all my life.
We're sorry that had to happen to you and that your wisdom was held back for so long. But some of us are starting to recognize the importance of people like you, and not just the fairer sex, as they call it, but people who have so much to offer in terms of humor, insight, intelligence. And you're also well-read, right? That's a big piece of it. You've read a lot of the greats. So we asked about your favorite movie. What's a book that you've read recently that's really ringing with you, that's really bringing some value for you?
Oh, I hope I get the name and the author right, because it's right over there. You know what? Let me take these things out for 1 second.
We'll
it's
edit
funny
it.
Because,
No,
I mean, of course, there are the classics, anything by Dickens, anything by Jane Austen.
Oh,
I read a lot of.
did you read that Dickens book about
1 minute. For those of you who are listening.
Oh, look at that room just lit up. Holy moly.
Wow. Colorful
amazing.
furniture.
Look at
Beautiful
that.
carpeting.
Amazing. Yeah.
All the artwork. Like, there's almost no more wall space for Benni's art up there. All right, here she's coming back with these books. She brought two in answer to my question. This is great.
Can you hear me without the earplugs?
Yeah,
We hear you great. We hear you great. Can you hear us?
Wait a minute.
You can't hear us without the earplugs.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
Don't worry. She can't hear us say, don't worry.
Okay, welcome back.
I'm so stupid.
Don't worry, Addie. Happens
worry.
to the worst of us.
So you
I
brought over a couple
discovered
books.
this writer, Rachel Joyce, British writer.
Rachel Joyce. Okay.
Well, somebody told me first to read The Music Shop, which was great. But then I read this, Miss Benson's Beetle. I was absolutely enthralled. I don't understand that it hasn't been made into a movie. It's just fantastic. She did do one book that was made into a movie. I forget what it's called. I forget the name of it. But it was just brought me into a world I knew nothing about. What's it called? When people study bugs, is that etymology?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that what it
entomology.
is? Okay.
Etymology. But I mean, great characters and a great adventure. I do tend to like books that are women driven. I'm not into a lot of macho stuff.
Did you ever get into that series about the African woman who was like a detective?
Yes, I've read. He's one of my favorite writers. I forget his name. So he's a white Scottish male who wrote this terrific series about this black woman, this African woman, detective, and they made a series of that too, which was pretty
Did
good.
they? Oh, I should
Yes,
check
it
that
was
out.
good. It
The
was
books
good.
were really
I'm a
fun.
big TV addict. I'm a total addict.
So what inspired you to write your book? What was it that called you in to write that book?
Well, it was actually the TikTok things that I do. As you know, they're very short. When I started TikTok, you couldn't go over 60 seconds.
Mhm.
Now, as a storyteller in the past, because I've been a storyteller with the Moth and I've done spoken word shows, one of my stories is actually more like 12 minutes. So that's a big challenge to say what I learned how to do it.
Yeah.
So I said what I needed to say in under a minute. Now that you can go over a minute, but it's still TikTok is, and all social media, it's very short, very concise. I wanted a chance to say what I have to say with more detail.
Hmm.
You know, these are all stories I've been telling for many years. It's not that I was starting with a blank page. So the book is actually a collection of personal stories and some observations and some very short sound bites. Hopefully humorous, and hopefully some are inspiring and moving. I want to do it all. I want you to laugh, and I want you to cry, and I want you to think.
One of the amazing qualities about experiencing your work is the voice that you have and the way that you bring such verve to it. Have you done the audiobook for your own book? Have you read?
Yes.
Oh,
I did it. And you know something? They wanted me to audition. My agent was so insulted because who are they gonna get to read the book of Benni? Helen Mirren? You know, it was so stupid. And for the first time in my life ever, I refused. I said, well, they wanted me to read some parts of the book. I said, no, but you can go to here and hear my voice and hear what my sound is like. But yes, there is an audio. I'm glad. Thank you for mentioning that. There is an audio version which I read myself.
Yeah, that would be really important to me.
yeah, I think.
Well, don't you think that I should be the one to read the book of Annie?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Since you like TV shows, did you see The Last of Us on HBO?
No, because I don't watch anything that's sci-fi or horror or what do they call it? Dystopian. I like sort of real things. And I'll tell you something embarrassing. I did a low budget movie, and we didn't have our individual trailers that you usually have on a real movie. So everybody hung out in the same sort of green room area. And so there was this nice looking guy there, and I talked to him, and how are you? And how's your career going? Are you working? He said, yeah, I'm doing okay. I didn't realize till way afterwards that was Pedro Pascal. I had no idea who he was. So I was talking to him like he's just another unemployed actor like me.
A handsome one.
He was very sweet, but he didn't say, well, yeah, I'm a big son.
That's brilliant.
But I didn't know. So I can't watch those things. They're too dark. They're too unpleasant for me. Why did you ask about that?
The young girl who's in it is such a strong. First of all, her acting's brilliant, but just as a character, there's such a strength in her that I really love watching.
Interesting. Did you see, speaking of young actors, did you see Adolescence, that British series?
No.
Oh my God. Okay. This is your assignment. I'm giving you homework.
All right.
Netflix.
That always happens.
There it is. Adolescence is going to win for everything, for acting, for writing, for directing, I don't want to tell you what it's about. It's dark. It's not a fun thing, but it's short. I think it's only it's either 4 or 6 episodes. It might only be 4. It's quite extraordinary, the way it's made, and this kid actor, you won't believe it. You won't believe it.
I have a question for you in this realm that you're in.
Sure.
I have been working with people in the Philippines, and one of my best friends is in Paris. And one of the things they
Are you a nurse? Are you a nurse?
No.
This
This is on doing web work and tech work, and the people in the Philippines are. But what I hear from them is this aspect of fascism in our social political scene is just rising up everywhere in the world. And I'm wondering, with your interaction with individuals all around the world, are you receiving a sense of hope that even though there might be a faction of the population that desires and craves power, that the populace as a whole is really interested in hanging out with each other?
You know, I hope so, but it would be hard to say because obviously, first of all, I never talk about I try for the most part. I did, but I never talk about politics. I try to stay away from divisive things because I want to be a place where all kinds of people can come. And I know I have followers who are not on my side politically. I am aware of that, but they're also very nice and decent and loyal to me. And so I just accept that. But it would be hard for me to judge because the people who follow me are those people that you're talking about, who give you hope, who have tolerance, who have, so I've created a place where I see the good. I mean, there's the occasional troll. I get that too.
That happens. Yeah.
And some of the trolls are so stupid you wouldn't believe it. Yeah, I did something about, and it's actually one of mine that went viral. I think it's had millions of things where it was actually during the pandemic. I went to a cafe, a local outdoor cafe, and I said, is there anything better than ending the day with a margarita and some guac and chips? Is anything better than sitting outside at a cafe and having a margarita and some guac? That's all I said. And one fool wrote in, oh, typical older white lady with her, what do they call it? Oh, what do they call it? Cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation. Why? Because only Mexicans are allowed to drink margaritas and eat. I mean, it was just so beyond stupid.
Yeah, it's almost not worth repeating in this space because, but I get it.
People laugh at the idiot of it, but for the most part, my experience has been exactly what my experience has been a hopeful one. I'll tell you something else. Hollywood has told me that I'm ugly. And to this day, if a casting call went out tomorrow for an attractive older woman, I would not be seen. I am not what Hollywood considers attractive. Now they have a euphemism. They say, because I'm a character type. What they mean is I'm too Jewish looking, which is considered ugly for women, not for men. Jewish looking men get the model, they get the good looking, but not. And so again, I've always accepted that. Gee, I wish I were pretty. It's too bad that I'm not pretty. It's too bad that I'm not an attractive woman. Now, again, with these younger people that are following me, every day I go, oh, you look great today. Oh, I love your hair. Oh, I love your style. You look so, hey, gorgeous. Hey, beautiful. What color lipstick is that? I love it. I have waited all of my life for people other than my husband and my friend, for people to tell me that I'm beautiful. So that gives me a little hope that they may be not so narrow in their perceptions of things.
And it's also an acknowledgement of something beyond the surface. Is that your husband? Is Benny saying it's time to go?
Slamming the door during yes, that would be Benny. My thoughtless husband. Yes.
No pretenses at all. We're just doing a conversation here. Family time with Annie Korzen. All right. Here we are at this wonderful juncture where none of us knew what to say. But you're right. Politics isn't something to cultivate. In fact, the more we cultivate this idea of loving life, the less we have to repeat and do the work of people who have darkness in them for them. And I think that's a powerful message, is to just be grateful and do your best and don't repeat and get sucked into the vortex.
Yeah,
that's a lot of fun.
And you know what I think too, that nobody on either side does, is to find our commonalities. We only focus on our differences. I just did a post, a very powerful post, about an experience I had, or should I tell it now? I could tell it now.
Yeah.
Tell it now.
And when I first did this years ago, I was told not to post it. It would be too divisive. So here's the story. Many years ago, I was on an airplane, and there was a young man sitting next to me, clearly an Arab, a Muslim. He was a student at MIT going home somewhere in the Middle East for his break, for Christmas break or whatever it was. And the food came, and I noticed that he had ordered a kosher meal. And I'm such a yenta, a busybody. I said, "Excuse me, Muhammad," but I'm just curious. You're not Jewish. Why are you eating kosher? And he said, "Oh, in Boston, all the Muslim students only shop at kosher butchers because we can only eat meat that has been blessed by a holy man." And I always get tears when I tell that story. That's such a beautiful story. And the conclusion of it was, if we could focus on our commonalities instead of fighting over our differences.
Yes.
And I think the same thing in this country. What do I have in common with somebody in a small, what we would used to call redneck town somewhere? What do I have in common? What do we have any values that we share? I think we might. If we really talked about it, about family, about friendship, about neighborliness, I would think we might have them. Now, I'm not going to start going to Friday night football, but I happen to like country music. There are certain country artists I love, actually. So what would happen if we really made an effort to find out what we share instead of just focusing on our differences? And that's what I try to do, actually, in the book and in my work in the social media. Try to show people, find a way to join people.
Yeah.
Want to respect your wishes around time. And so I think we're at a point now where we have to actually ask you a very divisive question.
Uh-oh.
This is a question that we ask all of our guests. But before we ask the question, what are some ways people can find your material and get more connected to you? What are some of the ways?
Thank you. Well, they can always go to my website, AnnieKorzen.com. And the book is on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. But where am I? Oh, I keep forgetting to tell people. I have a new thing. I've started a YouTube channel, and it's called Annie Korzen Videos. And I need to ask you two and anybody who's listening, I need people to subscribe, because I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. And if I hit 1,000, I will get paid, and I need the money. I'm not a rich lady. So Annie Korzen Videos on YouTube, and I'm on Instagram. I always forget what I am, but you can find me there.
On TikTok, we will make sure we put
A Korzen on TikTok.
So we will definitely link to Annie Korzen videos on YouTube in the show notes and on our other material. We also do shorts for every show, so we'll add you as a collaborator on those.
Excellent.
All right, and we'll get lots of synergy going, and just one person to another. Annie, if you ever just want someone to listen, both Greg and I would love to spend more time with you.
No, what I want is for me to come up where you live and for you to introduce me to Anne Lamott, or give Anne Lamott my book. That's what I really want you to do.
All right, I will work on that.
She's my hero.
She's brilliant. Yeah, she's really, talk about a very transparent storyteller.
That's it. No, she's been a great inspiration to me, actually.
Yeah, she's solid.
Actually.
All right, Greg, it's time for you to ask the divisive question.
This is a tradition that Mark and I have on this ride. This is always our final question. And Annie, I've loved this morning with you. Thank you so much for your time.
I had fun. You two guys are great.
All right, so this is it.
Yes.
Eminem or Foo Fighters?
You can't ask me that. I've heard them both. I've heard Eminem. I kind of like him. I always forget which ones Foo Fighters are. You're talking to an old lady. Ask me about, George Gershwin versus Rodgers and Hart. That I can answer. Just remind me, Who's in who are Foo Fighters? Did they
So
were they
Dave-
just
A young
Dave-
Jewish boy named Dave Grohl is the drummer for the Foo Fighters.
No,
And
he's
he was-
the lead singer and lead guitarist, but he
you're right.
was the drummer for Nirvana. If you heard about Nirvana,
Yes, of course I heard, but
Yeah.
it's not the music I'm going to turn on to listen to.
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still, but I do listen to the Beatles. the
Everybody
Foo
listens to the. Hey,
the Foo
speaking
Fighters
of
just getting
movies,
Huh?
did you see that movie where the Indian gentleman who's a failing musician and
Right.
Yesterday. It's called Yesterday.
Oh,
Loved it. Loved it.
So
I
good.
loved it.
so good.
But did Foo Fighters? Did they just get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? That's one of
I
my
don't-
favorite shows. I always watch that
No,
show. The
right now what they're famous for is Dave Grohl had a baby outside of his marriage and blew up his
Oh.
family. So
that's not a world that I'm
yeah, they got
participating
great
in.
music though.
Okay. All right then.
It's been
I
lovely
really-
visiting with you. We'll share all of the things so that people can find you, and you'll hear from us when we're getting ready to publish it. Thanks so much
Yes,
for your time.
please.
And if we find Annie Lamont, we will definitely make sure she gets a copy of your book and put her in touch with you.
Oh, perfect. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Recording stopped.